Kind words. I'm excited to see many of you already. I've seen you guys before. We've met before in one way or another. So very grateful to be here with you again and excited to share with you some cool stuff. Um, the topic tonight, really one of my favorites because I'm actually going to read the exact topic out to you. As you already know the topic, I'm just going to say it. Naturally achieving greater success because of the evolution of self-perception. I'm going to break this down with you guys for a moment. Um, have you ever felt so curious? Why sometimes you can get your mind to do certain things and why you couldn't get your mind to do certain things, right? Why you could get your mind to perhaps perform really well in one area of your life and maybe not so well in one area. Or sometimes you feel totally motivated about a goal and then sometimes you're not. Now these moments of not being all the way, the person that you want to be are typically the reasons why we don't achieve our goals effortlessly because of that inconsistency and or even self-sabotaging behavior. Now, if you notice I'm looking over here is because your faces are right here on my screen, right? So just know that if I'm looking over here. Now, oftentimes we have a lot of, if you get online, you see a lot of automations. You learn about cool funnels, cool sales techniques, cool all kinds of business processes. They can be very beneficial, but when was the last time you heard about automating yourself? When was the last time you heard about developing really you to be the ultimate you, right? And to create such automation that your mental and emotional processes are so efficient that you can't help but succeed, right? Oh, it seems like we have more people. I'm going to stretch my screen. Give me a sec so I can see. If you guys can show me your faces, it'll be even easier for me to read your responses unless there's an internet slowdown. But Zoom has significantly improved their game since the beginning of COVID. So we should be pretty good. So first off, real quick, right? This is not financial advice. This is not even business advice. This is advice for the mind, right? Because we specialize in programming the human mind. And so what we're going to share with you tonight is how you're going to be able to program your mind so you could change your self-perception and therefore creating a change that has ripple effects in your business and your personal life. Very exciting topic. Here's the key. If your mind is not in the right place, you could spend millions of dollars or more in all kinds of stuff, business processes, hiring the certain people or buying whatever you buy, right? To try and help the business grow. But really, you can't actually expect those things to live up to their true potential until you do, until you begin to unlock your mind, right? Now, oftentimes, it's not even that you're not able to live up to your true potential, but it's because you don't believe you could. Your mind is not unlocked. I'll tell you a real big secret here is oftentimes, as quickly as you allow yourself to perceive yourself differently, you change. So earlier this morning, I did a little interview with one of our students who had, he had some difficulties with alcohol. Let's just say it that way. Some people will call him addicted, right? But long story short, 20 years plus of using vodka, a lot of vodka. When we met, we did some processes and he really wanted to quit, but he didn't have the tools, right? He even went through rehab and did a number of things. Rehab is not cheap. It's like what, $16,000, $20,000 a week. So pretty decently expensive. Long story short, upon joining the training, day 2 of the training, we did a process that lasted about 10 minutes where we changed his perception of not only himself, but alcohol. 10 minutes. He never drank since. In fact, every time he'd think about alcohol, his stomach turns. He just couldn't. It's gross to him. So I'm going to explain real quick. Yeah, something a little deeper, because I think you guys are ready for this. So our mind is like a holographic machine. It stores different things, not necessarily in a three-dimensional way, but just bear with me. Imagine what you like is stored over here, and what you dislike is stored over here. If what you like is something that you know isn't good for you, but you still like it, oftentimes people can push hard, use willpower, and maybe it's sugar cookies, maybe it's whatever, right? Maybe it's alcohol in that case. Um, but until this is moved in their unconscious, in that holographic storage system, they don't dislike it. They still like it. They're fighting against their unconscious. They're trying to dislike it consciously, but their unconscious mind, their body, their neurology, everything is like, we like this, right? So what we did was we changed that. We actually moved this into this location. All of a sudden, he hates alcohol. It's gross. It's disgusting. Now, I'm giving you the story. Yes, the story is literal. It's exactly what happened. I'm going to tell you it's also a metaphor. How often do we perceive ourselves as someone unworthy of success? How often? How often do we perceive ourselves as, I only deserve this much because my father, my mother, my cousin, my sibling did this, and they achieved that level of success. Therefore, I can only get to this point. And some of you may have broken through that and achieved more than your family ever did. But then there's that societal, that neighborhood, or who knows, right? Whatever your friends are doing. There's that perception of how far you can go, right? So think about this. There are really no unresourceful people, only unresourceful states. So if you were to perceive yourself in a certain way, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to achieve certain levels, then your emotional state will be actually, it's literally a matching state to what you believe about yourself. So if you believe yourself are unworthy of massive success, you'll feel that way. And that your emotions will then produce a behavior that matches what you believe about yourself. So tonight, I'm gonna reread the title again, right? Because there are so many things right there. Naturally achieving. In order to naturally achieve your goals, it's not about forcing your goals to happen. See, it's not like working out. Working out, you need to go push hard. You got to go, when you go and lift weight, for example, or go run, you got to push, right? There's that physical exertion. When it comes to the mind, it's different. It's the opposite. Instead of forcing and pushing through, which, hey, look, it still could work, right? There's the thing about grit and endurance and resilience. Those things do exist. They do work. However, it takes a lot more effort. And and the key question is, when will those work? Those will work when you finally, at some magical moment, relax and your unconscious mind gets a download and it's like, oh, this is what you want me to do? Okay, right? Why not just relax now? So the key here is being able to take yourself into that state now, instead of pushing yourself towards your goal, relaxing into your goal. So this is point number one of tonight. In order to naturally achieve massive success, and I don't mean small, right? I'm going to give you a quick example. And I hope you guys don't mind, because I'm going to read this post authentically as it was written. Yeah. And the gentleman did use a swear word in there, or two. So hope you don't mind. Yeah. You guys okay with that? I'm going to read authentically what he wrote. Cool. Thank you. So I'm going to pull it up. It was really refreshing to see what he wrote, because his love for his wife and just a number of things. I'll just read it to you. So, okay, right here. This morning, one of our students, he previously played in the National Football League. Anyway, he became a fitness coach after, because he was like, I just want to train people to become really good and become professional athletes. And that's what he did. And so, long story short, when I first met him, he was already a coach, fitness coach. But fitness coach, some of us may not perceive them as, making a lot of money, right? At that time, his business was fine, but it wasn't where he is now. So anyway, I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna give you exact numbers because just his privacy, but it's a lot less than this number. Yeah, a lot less than this number. Granted, he's already talked about this publicly, but I'm gonna keep his privacy. And this is dramatically different than what before he changed his mindset. So I'm gonna read the post. Yeah, you guys ready? So 101,662 dollars. This was January 1st to January 13th. This is actually how much he made. So he said hit 100K in 13 days. After wanting 100K per month for 3 years, where my income barely changed. For my wife's birthday today, I'm taking her to a top-notch steakhouse in Scottsdale with friends. You know how when the party ends, really nice restaurants really dislike splitting the checks up between 6 couples, he said. Someone in the group will say, let's just divide it by 6 and call it good. And 2 of the couples look at each other like, fuck that, we didn't order $18 of drinks. This is the word part, right? Don't mind me, yeah? I'm just keeping it authentic, so I'm gonna keep going. He's like, I hate that shit. I've always hated it. So this year, for the first time ever, I just rented a room and got a limo bus. And when it comes time to pay our friends, some of which who flew in, will reach for their wallet and insist to pay, but they won't be able to because I prepaid $4,000 for all their meals and their drinks. It's not for them, it's for my wife. We want to live free as fuck. I hate deciding what I want to eat based on price. I'm never going to do that. Why do I talk about money like this? Maybe it makes you uncomfortable. If so, hint, that's your problem. William Lamb has challenged me to make 100K a day now. I can't wait for that day. It's happening faster than you think. While everyone gobs of training and coaching on tactics and strategies of funnels and offers and Facebook ads, months after months, income barely moves enough to notice. Because I don't know how I can possibly say it any more than I already have. It starts and ends with your mindset. Not in what you say, but in how you believe, act, and feel. Because money is always being attracted or repelled. If I could go back 10 years, I'd figure this out first. I hope you don't mind that there were a couple of swear words here and there, but this is keeping the post really authentic, yeah? Now, I want you guys to know this. The gentleman changed his perception not only about money, but himself. He really believes differently now. He believes differently now. So I want to bring this up really quickly because topic, right? I'm going to pull this up because I want to say it perfectly. Naturally achieving greater success. It's not about your goals or the money or any of that. It is about you being the person who can easily achieve these goals. Then the next part we said, because of evolution of self-perception. Now, of course, you will change. As you change your self-perception, you will change. There was a big movement, psycho-cybernetics in the 80s and 90s, and maybe even before that. That movement was based on your self-perception. You will behave accordingly. So what do you believe you are? So when you begin to change that by design, yeah, and we're going to share some tricks and tools with you tonight, where you can begin to design who you want to be. Then all of those self-identity change, the change in how you identify yourself or how you perceive yourself will not only trickle down, but dramatically influence how you think and feel in all areas of your life. So let me say this. First off, if I were to ask you to write down 25 things about how you perceive yourself, what would you write? Now, I don't want you to think about this too much. I want you to literally just unload on paper 25 attributes, what you perceive yourself, positive and negative, or anything in between. What would you write? Some of you might already be thinking negative things, right? Because there's a statistic, there's a research done on human thoughts. And they say about 80 to 90% of our thoughts, general public, yeah, of our thoughts are negative. 80% to 90% throughout the day. Guys, that's not good. I mean, look at the world. That's a projection of these collective thoughts, right? Or at least what the media projects, right? Let me say this. If you were to write 25 attributes of how you perceive yourself without thinking, without consciously trying to say, oh, I think myself as this, right? Just unload and download it onto the paper. Just write freely. You may find some negative things that you write about yourself, things that you don't like about yourself. Now, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I feel so sad that I think of myself this way. No. I'm going to give you a trick here. After you write those down, you must ask yourself, what can I learn from it so I can perceive myself as someone I want, right? And the follow-up question is, what do I want instead? What do I want instead? See, a lot of times we don't achieve what we want, not because we don't have the capabilities. National Geographic, and they pulled this from different sources, says we have million times a billion calculation capability per second, our mind. That means a lot of calculations, astronomical numbers. That means a lot of calculation has been done throughout the hour and the day. You can do a lot of things. But how many of us really tap into that full potential? Most don't, right? So what I'm saying here is simple. You're truly capable. Whatever you think you can do more. The problem is you don't think you can do more. Your self-perception does not support what you can actually do. So if you don't change what you believe about yourself or what you believe, and this goes into what you believe you deserve as well, right? Because that's a behavior that comes off of what you believe you are. If you don't change your self-perception, success, there will be a lot of inertia. There will be a lot of resistance. That's not what you want. Who wants to create resistance? There's enough resistance already, right? Or is there resistance? See, something you really got to think about is that where does resistance come from? Is it in the client that you want to create sales with? Like, you're selling a product. Is that where resistance is? Or is it within yourself? Or is there even any difference? See, I'll tell you something too. This is another thing that I want you to really remember. Or we may not be able to say. Oh, someone agrees.
Oh.
Someone really agrees. Can we mute?
Yeah, I unmuted. I muted, but sorry. Go ahead.
So think about this, right? When you set goals, you can set goals for yourself, but you can't really set goals for other people. When you think about that for a moment, you realize, wait, then what can I do to influence others? Something that we are not often taught is that we can actually set state, meaning emotional state, for ourselves. We're in charge of our emotions. We actually are, right? When you change your emotional state, you can actually immediately influence other people's emotional states. So if you ever want to, for example, get someone to want to purchase something that's a win-win ecological product, right? And many of you have your business that you want to share products that are very beneficial to people. If you want people to purchase from you, do you want to get into an emotional state? Because keep in mind, if you're in that emotional state, they're most likely going to enter into that emotional state with you. Humans, emotional states are contagious. Humans enter into their environment's emotional states. They sync with that, right? They become harmonious with the emotional states of their surrounding. So if you are in a negative or a fearful state, you're like, oh crap, what if they don't like me? What if they don't want to buy? What if they reject me? How do you think you feel? Not good, right? And that feeling gets transferred to the client, the potential client. You get where I'm going? So if you have a not so positive state, and in your mind, you're playing images, right? Because what you play on the stage of your mind is a preview of coming attraction. So if you play things that cause you to experience fear and negative emotions, hey, it's not rocket science, really. If you think things that are terrible in your mind, or maybe not terrible, but just negative, not so good, what do you think you'll feel, right? You'll feel not so good. And your behavior will be influenced by that. And the people interacting with you will feel the same thing. Now, let's take that and take it to the flip side. Let's say you're talking with a potential client. And you're just you really now begin to believe that I'm actually a really good person. Because you are, right? Then believe that. As you begin to believe that truly, and perceive yourself that as that good person and that you have good things. And of course, this is being real with yourself, being honest with yourself. Yeah. You will begin to feel differently. And as you feel differently, that feeling of abundance and oh my gosh, I'm so excited to share. I'm so grateful to share. I'm just so thrilled. Yeah, so joyous, so happy, so motivated and confident about this. What do you think? You don't need to say much. You think your client will feel the same thing? They're like, I don't know who you are, but I just feel amazing. Yeah. I met a gentleman earlier, actually not that long ago, like a couple hours ago, a gentleman, and I didn't know what he like. I didn't know his position in his company or anything. He's a president of his company, and it's just amazing how positive, how upbeat he was, right? And as I met with him very briefly, I'm just like, this person just makes me want to be around this person, right? It just makes me want to do business with them. I don't even care what he sells. I just want to be around him because he's so, like, there's that wonderful energy. I just want more of this person in my life. Now, that's a good scenario. That's a good scenario. And you will want that if you want to create massive success, right? Now, here's the thing. Self-perception. Let's dive in a little bit. Yeah. How do you change that? How do you change self-perception? So when you have that list, I do recommend that you take out a piece of paper and start writing down 25 things that you think about yourself. This is not even something that you do by contemplating. Yeah, you do it simply without contemplation. You pull out a piece of paper, you just start writing, I am. If there's anything you don't like about it, I'm going to ask you 2 questions and I want you to write them down because then they will help you resolve it. Yeah. I'm not telling you like the full, 20-step process that you can like completely eliminate negative thoughts or become the ultimate you. Like we only got like an hour. So that's what our full blown training does, right? But here I can give you at least some tips to get started. You can get going, right? So step 1, you write them all down, yeah, without thinking. This is why I ask you to do that is because your unconscious mind does not want that interference. You don't want that conscious analysis. You just want to write. So it's a complete set of raw data from your unconscious. After you write it down, you identify all of the ones that you deem as negative or not positive, yeah? Then step 2, you ask, what do I want instead? What do I want instead? So let's say you're like, I am broke. Hey, maybe you don't feel so terrible about it, but maybe you do, right? Maybe you're like, hey, and look, it's all comparison, right? Because you may have X amount of thousand or 100 or 100 of thousand, it doesn't matter. You could always find someone to compare and say, oh, I'm so broke. Or you could always find someone to compare and say, oh, I'm so rich, right? There are always someone out there richer or poorer, right? When you compare. So then you got to think, okay, what do I want instead? If you are like, I feel broke, what do you want to feel instead? Or if you say, I am broke, what do I want to be instead? Rich, wealthy, successful? What is it, right? Once you identify what you want instead. Now, look, guys, this even works when it comes to self-perception in terms of physiology. Like maybe some of you are like, even though you're healthy and you look fine, but you look at the mirror and you judge yourself, right? Now, of course, I'm not talking about being dishonest, but I'm saying like, or honest, I'm saying like absolutely being truthful to yourself, but being loving at the same time, right? I'm not saying being truthful or not truthful, being loving and honest. You can have both. You can be loving towards yourself. Hey, look, I'm not there yet. I could be the ultimate version of me physically. It's in there. It's all in all of you, right? So you may not be happy at the present state, but that doesn't mean you couldn't get to where you want. So let's say you write something that's not necessarily pleasant, like I am whatever, and you're like, oh, I identify that. I want to feel fit and healthy. Guys, I gotta point this out real quick. If someone says I want to lose weight, I want to lose fat, it's like the don't think of a pink elephant effect. what happens? If you don't want to think about pink elephant, and I tell you don't think of a pink elephant, you think of a pink elephant. And what you focus on, remember, right? What you play on the stage of your mind is a preview of coming attraction. If you keep thinking, oh, I hate that I ate so much pizza and that I look, bigger than I want, and I want to lose fat. If you focus on fat, that's what the mind creates. Guys, really think about this very carefully. Yeah, same thing. If you think about being broke and not having the money you want, that's what the mind continues to create. This is the coolest thing. This is tremendous amount of freedom, because if you realize this, you can simply change your thought. And over time, and I'm not saying overnight, that some people will experience that overnight. I'm not going to guarantee it. Yeah. But you will, if you keep going with noticing how you identify yourself as, like, I am this or I am that, and identify what you want instead in step 2, then you will naturally go to step 3 and say, okay, what can I learn from this so I can become this? Guys, this is valuable stuff. And this is one of the tools, it may seem simple, one of the tools that we take from our full-blown training that really works. It works really, it's simple, but it works. How do I identify myself as? Yeah, what do I identify as? And then you look at which ones are negative, and then you say, okay, what do I want instead? And then lastly, what can I learn from it so I can have what I want instead? What can I learn from it so I can become, this new me? Or really, it's not new you. It's always been the real you. It's just that you have identified yourself with behaviors and or circumstances and say that's you. It's really, you're far more magnificent than whatever you identify as. Yeah. So now, that being said, I'm going to go back to, let's say some of you might be interested in using this in sales, right? You're like, hey, I want to create more success in my business, in my wealth. Because how many of you believe that if you have an extra $100,000 could really solve some problems in life? There's probably quite a few of you, right? An extra $100,000 effortlessly, perhaps even, right? Now, and all of you come from different walks of life. I'm not going to say money will solve all problems. No way, right? That's not the case. We've known many millionaires that made so much money, but they're still not happy. It's not the money. It's the mind that uses the money. It's the mind that uses the money. Money is just a tool, just an energy, right? Depending on the person. So let's talk about this. When it comes to sales, because at the end of the day, yes, I can tell you money doesn't create happiness. You still need money to buy food. So let's talk about how and pay bills and it's useful. What are you identifying right now at this moment when it comes to money? How do you perceive money, right? Same thing, the same exercise, right? You can do it with money. Money is blah. Step 1, money is blah. Money is blah, 25 of them. Now look, guys, this may sound like, oh, I'm just sitting down writing stuff, but guys, trust me, writing is a great way for the unconscious to unload things. And when your unconscious mind knows when you know what your unconscious mind has been storing inside, which dictates your behavior and therefore outcome, you will then discover why you haven't gotten all of the things and or experiences that you want, right? So, and of course you can take a look at it at a improvement standpoint. If I am doing well with money, wouldn't it be great if I could spend more time with my family and or with myself, take better care of myself because I have more time to do what I want? Yeah. Wouldn't that be great to be able to go on that, that little camping trip, or be able to go and like my friend, not have to worry about splitting the bills at a restaurant on his wife's birthday? Wouldn't it be great to be able to have such abundance? It would. So then you got to write, okay, money is this, this, this. And then step 2, once again, you look at it, is there anything negative? Maybe you say money is evil. Hey, some people in this world, look, I was there at some point. People were saying, hey, look, if you're rich, you're not a good person. Look, I mean, not like logically they literally think that, but insinuating unconsciously. Yeah. And some people are taught that in their families or in their religions or in their whatever, in their culture. Yeah. The thing is, money is a magnifier. If you're a good person, you'll be a good person. That's the truth. If you're not so good of a person, money will still magnify that. The thing is, it's just energy, right? It's like, hey, is watermelon, I'm gonna pick something ridiculous. Is that evil? Watermelon is not evil, it's just watermelon, yeah? Or a knife, yeah? Is a knife evil? You can use it to cut the watermelon, or you can use it to do other things, yeah? So you really gotta think it's the intention of the user. So now, if you combine the two lists, I am this and or money is this, right? When you have those two lists, you can now look at and kind of contrast the two and say, oh, wow. Yeah. You'll notice some cool things. Guys, please trust me. If you were to do this exercise, you will notice change. This is not a legal guarantee. At the same time, I would love to hear about what you experience because I've heard so many cool things that people have experienced when they do exercises like this. So I'm going to give you another trick that's really useful. When you think about doing sales, right? When you talk to someone, have you ever experienced the fear of rejection? Anyone? Guys, there's something in our identity that you may or may not be conscious of. See, in your identity, I am this or I am that. If you have you ever thought of or met someone that seems like they would never get rejected? Everyone seems to like them, love them. Everyone just want to support and help them. Have you ever met someone like that? Like Sherry. Have you ever met someone like that? Yeah. Besides Sherry, yeah. You know people like that. They do exist. That identity is key, guys. That identity is key because the identity will help you effortlessly and naturally have attitudes and beliefs. See, we can go in and work on every single one of our behaviors and or beliefs and or attitude one by one. It would be actually quite tedious. But if you change your identity, all of those becomes ripple effect. It's a domino effect, really. All of those things will just naturally fall in place to support your identity. So now the next step is I want you to design how you want to be perceived by yourself. I know that we corrected some of the things you don't like, but previously we were just eliciting what your unconscious mind perceived you as and or money as. Now I'm asking you to design how you want to perceive yourself. And it doesn't matter how other people perceive you, trust me, because once you begin to truly perceive yourself as magnificent, others will begin to do the same thing. They will be like, wow, who are you? Right? So the next step is to design how you want to perceive yourself. So for example, you can say, I am magnificent. Yeah, and then there's another step after this. So just keep going with me. I am abundant. Yeah, this is not affirmation, guys. I'm not teaching you to go repeat it in the mirror to yourself. Here's why. Because do you get up in the morning and repeat to yourself, I breathe, I eat, I digest, and I go poop? Like you don't, do you? Because that would be weird, right? Why don't you do it? Because you naturally do it, right? It's a natural function of the body. So if you truly believe you're confident and you truly believe you're magnificent, you probably wouldn't need to do that, right? So the next step I'm going to show you is how you can install some of this to become natural. So wait on it, we're going to get there. But I'm going to name off a few more examples. Yeah. Now, once again, right, these techniques require that you use them to work. Yeah. In the training, we actually begin to program you. Like if you were to go into the training, we will literally begin to help you, of course, with your permission, program your unconscious so that you naturally begin to have these beliefs. Now you just have a little bit more work because, you're not yet in the training, you're doing this. We're just doing this as a 1 hour thing. So you will need to do a little bit more work to install that yourself. But hey, look, it's doable, right? At least if any of you were to be interested in our training, this is a great preparation. So let's keep going. Some of you are actually already doing our training, or have done it. Now, let me say this. As you think about how you or who you want yourself to be, you could say things like, I'm magnificent, I am abundant. But I want you to think of it like this. Think of it in the categories of life that you care about, like whether it's financial abundance or family relationship or personal health. See, the thing is, sometimes things get lopsided when people don't actually pay attention to other areas that are also important. They're like, oh, I just want to make more money. But they neglect the fact that making more money may mean this or this or this. But when you begin to write, I'm abundant, and I am healthy and fit, yeah, even if you don't believe yet, right? This is a design process, so you don't need to believe it. This is what you want your ideal self to be in terms of self-perception. I am super successful. People, I am admirable. I am grateful. Or maybe that's not like an identity, but maybe it is, right? So you write all those things, 25 attributes again. What happens is, as you write them down, some funny things will surface in your mind. Interesting things, memories perhaps, yeah? You're welcome to write them down next to it. If you're comfortable with it, write them down. And then you can once again go and ask yourself, what can I learn from it? And learnings is a really great way to let go of old memories that don't serve you anymore, yeah? So start there. You write down all these designs. But I want you to really keep in mind money, family, health, and all the other aspects of life. You won't get lopsided. You would actually be really well balanced in that sense. Yeah. Now, some people have some funny belief like, hey, look, I can only have success in family and or success in money. If I make a lot of money, my family must be failing. Now, look, some of you may look at this and say, that's ridiculous. Who would believe that? That's a ridiculous logical belief. But some of you deep inside might actually believe that. Maybe you've been taught that. Maybe you're like, oh man, that actually rings true to me. I actually believe that. Maybe that's why I've been avoiding financial success, because I want to keep my family. Here's the thing. All decisions can be done by design. Yeah. So you get to design what you want to believe and actualize the outcome. The dichotomy of you can only have one or the other is a false dichotomy. That's what we call a limiting belief. Yeah. So if you were to say, hey, look, I can only have great health or massive success and money, once again, another one, get rid of them. Get rid of them. It's not true, guys. It's absolutely not true. Yeah. You can have great wealth, great success in family, and great health. All of them. All of them. See, some people will tell you, this is a funny thing. Like I get on these conversations and I hear these things, everywhere I go. People are like, I'd rather have great health than have a lot of money. I'm like, who says you have to peg? How sad. That's scarcity mindset right there, right? Some say, oh, I'd rather have my family. I'd rather, just have time with my family than be able to have money for yachts. I'm like, what do you think yachts are for? You spend time with your family on the yachts, right? Now, I'm giving you some examples that may sound like jokes, right? But really, some people actually believe certain things and they limit themselves. I'm going to tell you guys right now, you can have all of them. You can have it all. In fact, it's cool that we're considering this, because if you think about it now, and as you go on this journey of true self-identity shift, you will find massive success without resistance. That's what I meant by natural, right? Who wants to, oh, this is another one, guys. Think about this. How many people are like, I have to grind hard, work so hard, and sacrifice everything so I can have success? And I'm not willing to do that. Therefore, I don't have success. Guys, that's not true. I met a lot of entrepreneurs that got there quite effortlessly. Yeah, they worked hard, but you also have to work hard at any other job, right? I mean, most jobs, or a lot of jobs, I'll just say that. So frankly, we can work really hard to hit a certain goal, or we can work really hard to hit a certain goal that you really deserve. So then it comes back to the question, what do you believe you deserve? Guys, this is not the last step, yeah? So we first ask you, what do you identify yourself as right now? What do you identify money as, right? Money is, or money means, or whatever. Then the next portion is this designing what you want to perceive yourself as. Next, I want to ask you to design what you believe you deserve. Guys, this is cool, because if you really do this next step, and then I'm going to seal it all together, like it all will come together with the last step, you will find, I mean, heck, what does the title say? I'm going to read it again. Naturally achieving greater success because of the evolution of self-perception. I'll be really shocked and surprised if you don't. Yeah. And I'll tell you, if there's any reason that you don't achieve more success naturally, this would be a reason, and I'll help you resolve it. I'll help you, give you some tools to resolve them ahead of time, so that when you come up upon it, you're like, ah, that's what William said. Thank you, right? So let's go. So what do I deserve? I want you to really consider, what do I believe I deserve? Now, here's the thing. You can write down what you want to feel deserving of. Yeah, that's something that you absolutely want to do. But at first, I want you to think about, what do I believe I actually deserve at this moment? It's like your financial thermostat or your relationship thermostat. Write them down. This last, quadrant, I want you to write down what you believe you deserve right now. And then if it's a number you don't like, when it comes to the financial aspect, you write a number you want instead next to it. And then and then you ask yourself, what can I learn from it? Guys, this is a cool exercise. I don't actually share this, in most settings. It may sound simple and it may seem like, oh, I have some stuff to do. But guys, if you do them, crazy things will happen. Not a legal guarantee, because I can't, right? But do tell us when things happen, right? So last step, this is how things get sealed together. When you look at all these things, how do you install them so that it's natural? I'm going to give you a trick. When you think about the sun will come up, now the belief of the sun will come up tomorrow. Do you have a picture? You do, in your mind, right? Where's that picture in relation to your body? It's probably like somewhere right in front of you, right? A big picture of the sun coming up. Do you believe that to be true? The sun will come up tomorrow. Even if you live in Scandinavia in the wintertime, it still comes up. You may not see it. Excuse me, it'll still come up. Here's the thing. That belief, where that picture is, you may not think of that picture as very important, but the location data of where that picture is, the brightness of the sun, the color of the sun, all of those are extremely important data, because that's where how your mind encode things that are true. Forget about self-affirmation, guys. You don't say I breathe, right? Therefore, when you think about what you deserve, let's say you want to feel deserving of $1 million in a year, right? $1 million 7-figure income. Maybe you already make more, maybe you make less, doesn't matter. It's just a number I'm picking to help you visualize, right? When you think about having $1 million a year, yeah, you may not believe you deserve it, but that's what you want. Great. When you think of that number, that you have $1 million a year, do you have a picture? You may say, yeah, but it's way over there. It's dim and dark and small. I can barely see it. That's the problem. The mind has stored it in a dark corner of thinking that it's not true, not possible. That's how data is encoded in your mind for programming. Guys, this is extremely awesome stuff. In the old days, people would think this is pure magic, but it's just science of how the mind functions and how it interacts with your physical universe, your physical world, right? So now we move that image from over there, that I make $1 million plus a year. For some of you, it might need to be a more exciting number of like 10 million, 20 million a year. Move that into where the sun, where I believe the sun will come up tomorrow. Bright, colorful, magnificent, right here in front of you. The detail, the radiance of that picture needs to match the sun. When you move that, guys, you're going to get goosebumps probably. It's very likely. I'm speaking from experience, speaking from clients and students' experience. And what happens is that they're unconsciously beginning to process how that can be done. Because whatever they believe to be true, the unconscious mind has no other option but to execute. It's a good thing, right? And your unconscious mind will, even in your sleep, begin to dream options. It will begin to come up with ideas. It will begin to organize the context, the people that you know, and naturally give you inspiration that you think are just simply hunches, inspirations when you wake up. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, I need to call so-and-so. And you call so-and-so, they're like, I was thinking about you. What are the odds? Must be fate. Have you ever experienced that? Like you call someone, they're like, I was just thinking about you. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to manufacture that at will? It's time. It's time to truly design what you want, install it. Guys, of course, hey, look, if you want a lot more detail and going in depth into how we do things, you can come to our training. Michael Mahoney is actually here. He's our training coordinator. You can contact him. He can post a link where you can learn more about our training. And he can add you into our Trans Library group where we post also free content. You don't have to sign up for our training, just saying, right? You can actually join our group and see free content. We do free trainings as well. If you want like really detail as well as the tools layout step by step on how this is done, read testimonials and all that, you're welcome to just join in our group. And some of you, and if you want to join our training, you're welcome to. Contact Michael Mahoney here. Now, here's the thing. I want to give you some time to ask questions because I'm not here to say, hey, you need to join our training. I'm here to give you something that you can literally use even if you didn't decide to join our training. Yeah. So I want you to ask me questions so that I make sure that what I gave you is already useful and that you can use it immediately to produce success right away. So any question?
William, would you like them to put their questions in the chat or would you like them to unmute?
Oh yeah, actually, let's put it in the chat. That would be awesome. Because
Right.
and Michael, would you be so kind to put the Facebook group link on there as well as your schedule link, just making sure that they know which one is which. Oh yeah, it seems like a few people already asked that they're interested. So yeah, and then ask your questions. I'm going to address them. Yeah, definitely take advantage of this time. Ask me anything you want, guys. We're here to help you. I mean, it's because I'm good friends with Sherry and Kenny that, you know, we're doing this. We don't really do this a ton outside of our own groups. So maybe I answered all the questions. Do the training.
I think some people are typing. They're thinking their questions. They're thinking in there.
What, okay, I got one. I got a 2 now. What tips do you have to refocus negative thoughts? First thing you ask is, what do I want instead? That's the first tip of redirect. You must ask yourself, what do I want instead? Because so many people will be like, I don't want this. Like I've had these phone calls with like big major CEOs and I'm like, hey, what do you want? They're like, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. I'm like, wait, I asked you what you want, not what you don't want. They're like, that's what I want. I'm like, I don't think you understand the don't think of a pink elephant effect. I need to know what you want instead. It needs to be a positive picture, not something you don't want and you call it, I want that, right? I mean, think about this, right? I don't want you to think of a pink elephant. What do you think about? I don't want you to think of blue tree, right? So you want to say, what do I want instead? And it's beautiful. You ask that enough times, your mind will start doing it automatically. And then your mind will just naturally be very positive. When you get it and you are in flow, but you have a setback, how do you restart? Great question. So setback simply are feedbacks. See, when you set, let's say $1 million goals, yeah, or any amount of goals, when you set $1 million goal, you're going to get $1 million feedback, whether it's going to show up as $1 million in your bank account, or it will show up as some people may call it failure or setback. And those, when you learn from it, it will lead to $1 million in your bank account, right? That's really how feedback works. But society has a funny thing about failure and putting shame and guilt on attaching it to failure. It's actually honorable. And it's awesome to fail, to get feedback, because it means that you're courageous. It's okay to not feel like you won, because you're going to win next time, as soon as you learn from it. It's really easy, as soon as you learn from it. And get this, if you learn from it, you'll notice a feeling, a relaxed feeling. And vice versa, if you get into a relaxed state, you'll learn from it real quick. So you got to get into a relaxed state either way. Great question. Thank you for this evening. I'm very impressed with, thank you for the great compliment. Appreciate that. Here's the step. Oh, someone wrote that. Thank you. How do you take on others' fears?
How do you not take on others?
Oh, how do you not take? Okay. Great question. Another good one. You guys are smart people, because these are deeper questions, right? These are all good questions. So how do you not take on other people's fears? Trick number one, this may be a visualization exercise. I would actually, now this is borderline meditation, visualization. You begin to visualize and I'll explain the science behind it. You visualize a light, basically almost like a bubble or a shield filled with light around you, 6 feet across, maybe 12 feet across from you. Whenever someone say anything or feels anything that's not positive or not what you want, you'll see the visual of it bouncing off and or getting absorbed and redirecting into positive energy. Here's what I mean. The science behind it is simple. Your mind operates on, one of the ways your mind operates on is visualization. Visualization actually is a tool in which you use to communicate with your unconscious what you want to do with anything, including that energy, emotional energy. So if you communicate to your unconscious, I visualize this energy bouncing off or getting redirected, then your unconscious mind will do exactly that. But if you're like, hey, I visualize myself getting affected by other people's fear, your unconscious mind will have no choice but to do that. Yeah. So visualize it bouncing off and or turning into something positive and then bouncing back. The person will be grateful for you. Let's see. Oh, is it correct? So step one, identity. So I'm gonna repeat what I said earlier. Plus you will get the recording. I'll say it real quick, big picture. First, you write down who you think you are now, right? And then if there's anything negative, you write what you want instead. And then you ask what you can learn from it to get what you want instead. That's chunk number one. Chunk number two, or part two, is money is or money means. So I want you to identify money. And then you follow the same structure. Yeah. What do I want money to mean instead? And like, what can I learn from it? Chunk number three, or part three, is just a pure design. It's not I am this based on what you already feel yourself to be, like what you think yourself are. You write down a 25 attribute list of what you want yourself to be. Yeah. And then if you feel any negative emotion about any of those things, like, oh, I don't feel magnificent, I'm not fit, right? Any of those things, you can write next to it, right? What can I learn from this so I can be this designed person? Yeah. Guys, I'm giving you some very detailed steps, and really do trust me, if you use them, it will work. Yeah. I typically give just big picture steps, and they're great, but if you really want very thorough result, go into the details. And the last step is, yeah, what's the last step? The last step is, what do I deserve? And you design that. And if you don't feel like you deserve that thing, or you want something else, you write what you want instead, and then what you can learn from it. Same structure. So 4 parts. Let's see. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Oh, how long have I been doing this? What is this? Like this training stuff, I would say we actually used to do one-on-one mostly. So when we first started, we were doing one-on-one and really small groups. I wasn't planning on making a business out of it. I was actually doing electronics and consumer electronics. That was my business previously. So long story short, I got going with that, and it hit a point where I plateaued. And I was like, I'm putting in more hours, but I'm not getting more out of it. What's going on? And I was like, oh, it must be my mindset. Some people get unmotivated at that time, but I'm like, no, no, no. If I change my mindset, something will change. I had that feeling, right? So I went and started my mindset journey, and then very quickly, I started getting people asking me what I am doing. And then that goes to, I mean, from individuals and small, check this out, guys. When I first started, I had nothing because I left my startup with like not really no money. So I went and slept on some old college friends' floor in Vegas when I took my first training. And I couldn't afford the training. So I borrowed money to pay rent and took the training on credit. That's how I started. It was a very humble beginning. And I actually sold my bed. I sold my love sack, my couch, my alarm clock. I sold a lot of stuff to get to the training. And that wasn't that long ago, guys. And now we're coaching guys doing 9, 10, 11 digits and or anything and or new people, right? People that are new entrepreneurs and anything in between. And very grateful for the journey. So in doing group trainings, it's been roughly since 2016, group trainings since 2016. And group training is fun because I get to hear thousands of stories in a matter of a month of how people change and or not change, or how we can get them and help them to change, right? And problems. So we get a lot of feedback very quickly. And it's really wonderful. So let's see, what do I mean by $1 million feedback? Well, when you, let's say, set $1 million goal, like I want to make $1 million in a certain amount of time. Well, if you didn't hit that goal, the feedback that comes back to you might be disappointment, might be whatever, but within it within it, as long as you had true intention. Are you guys okay? I'm going over like a minute too. You guys okay with this? I'm going to keep going for a couple more minutes just so I can answer all the questions. Okay. So, and Sherry, you're okay with that too, right? You got somewhere, you good? Okay. So as you look at that feedback from those emotions and whatever you felt by not hitting the goal, if you are willing to really consider what's within those disappointment or whatever, you will find learnings. And I've heard some cool learnings. I had a client one time told me the learning from not hitting their financial goal was actually, I am worthy of massive success, because previously I didn't believe I was worthy of $1 million. But it was because he didn't hit the goal, he discovered that he actually didn't believe he deserved it, because his dad used to tell him that you have to sacrifice for 20 plus years before you can get to a point where something will happen like that, right? So feedback that are worth millions of dollars. So if you set $1 billion goal, you'll get feedback that are worth $1 billion, as long as you have true intention and truly put the energy into creating it. Yeah. So I would say incrementally increase your goal that makes you feel absolutely uncomfortable. And there's a video within our group. When you watch it, it's a little introduction of our training. You'll see, because we talk about how when people stay in comfort zone, they set a goal and it's in maybe, growth zone. Yeah. They step out of their comfort zone, they step into the growth zone. It's actually really uncomfortable there. And they say, society tell us, you need to be uncomfortable to grow. The problem is the discomfort does not justify the amount of reward you're getting. So people tend to just go back to their comfort zone. But then on the other side, there's the panic zone. You don't want to go to panic zone. So what do? People are just like, oh crap, I don't know what to do, right? And in growth zone, you're getting maybe 20, 10, 30% increase per year. Just arbitrary numbers. That tends to be the norm. But then when you actually look at beyond the panic zone, yeah. So comfort zone, growth zone, panic zone, there's a hyper growth zone that most people are unaware of. When you start setting goals that are of hyper growth nature, you will naturally find yourself in a place where, yeah, it might be uncomfortable, but it's actually way more comfortable than the comfort zone and or the growth zone, because the reward is so big that it justifies the discomfort 1,000,000 times over. And it causes you to naturally enter into more of a flow state, which is very powerful. It gives you more access to that 1,000,000 times a billion dollar, 1,000,000 times a billion calculation per second. Let's see. Also not. Oh, what's behind me? Wait, what? Oh, in the background. Ah, okay. It's a soundboard. It's a soundboard. So when we record, the sound doesn't bounce funny. Yeah. Mentally, I put on a cloak with clients. Be authentic with your clients, because when you're authentic, what's cool is you'll attract clients that are authentic with you. You don't want double walls.
I think she means, like, you know how you were saying with the energy. So Rebecca is a energy and massage therapist. So I think she was, you know how you were saying
Oh, thank you.
So I think in her mind, she puts on a cloak to protect herself from the
Oh,
truth.
wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great then. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's good. Oh, thank you for the great compliment. Let's see. Isn't one of the most important things to learn to spend time with just yourself every day? Yeah, definitely. Definitely learn to spend time with yourself. Very important, because when you're comfortable in your own skin, right, through these exercises, you'll get more comfortable. Definitely. We're going to the heart of things, right? You will find yourself that clients are more comfortable with you. People aren't comfortable spending money with people that aren't comfortable with themselves. I mean, doesn't that just make sense? So if you're more comfortable with yourself, people are far more comfortable to spend money with you, because it is a win-win. See, the thing is, there are too many people that believe that making money is a win-lose situation. That's a joke. Making money is a win-win situation. And when you begin to think that way, all your behavior will support that. And the client will feel the same way, because you will provide value. Oh, thank you for the great words, guys. Seems like there's no more questions. Hey, guys, really appreciate your time. And I know you guys thank me. All of our time are valuable. So I appreciate you guys paying attention. Thank you. And please feel free to reach out, especially to Michael. He's our in-house coach as well. So he can answer a lot of questions. If you have questions, he has a calendar that I think he posted up above that you can just go to our group. And Michael, would you be so kind to put your calendar link in there as well? And so if you were to want to schedule with Michael, feel free to schedule with him down here. He's posting a link, and then also join our group, which here's another link just so you get it. So if you have any questions,
the
go ahead.
Facebook link is, yeah, the Facebook group is in there, William, and everyone. My schedule's in there as well. Please feel free to explore around our Facebook group. Check out the content we have, and you have further questions, be happy to schedule some time with you guys.
Have a wonderful evening, you guys.
Thank you, William. I just want to say, guys, when you connect with William Land, you connect with other awesome people. It happens. Like my group of friends and associates has grown, and they're awesome, awesome people. So connect in that group at Trance Library. And after you do what we learned tonight, I would love to hear your results too. Sherry One Life, you can find me there. Text your results. Let's just do this together. Let's upgrade together. And I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for being on tonight, everybody. Thank you, William, for your time.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful evening, you guys. Take care.